presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the hosts of the show, and to my right is a man who loves to get him a New York slice. And by New York slice, I mean Sbarro's. Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are we doing tonight?
Me and Michael Scott, we're right up there, both of us getting those New York slices. I'm doing all right tonight. Ryan. But I got to start us off. I'll ask how you're doing, but I have to ask you a question before you respond. And I'm already steering us off course. But my question is, I was watching some of Hard Knocks before the show, and I've seen 3 episodes now. Good show, as always. The Bears are interesting this year for a variety of reasons. But in the first episode, there's something that greatly disturbs me. When Coach Matt Eberflus picks up the phone to talk to I believe it was Caleb Williams, who they had just drafted, he said, "Sup, it's Coach Flus." And I'm going, you cannot refer to yourself by a nickname. You cannot do that. I wanted to say, please don't ever say Coach Flus again. Your thoughts, Ryan?
I want to die now. I want to die because I'm cringing so hard. It's ridiculous. No, you can't do that. No. When I come to power, no giving yourself nickname. Okay.
All right.
Okay. No giving yourself nicknames. It's stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Coach Flus.
I know.
Good God Almighty.
That has been bothering me for weeks, and it happened while we were on break. And I was like, I can't wait to talk to Ryan about this, but then I forgot. But other than that, the fact that I just ruined your night. How are you, sir?
I'm hanging in there. Had a rough day at work today, but I just came home from a workout. I'm enjoying a healthy shake, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to have some fun because I need some fun today. So that's why I'm here. Yeah. So we'll get into it. I have another thought about I didn't watch Hard Knocks, but I'll tell you some thoughts in a second. But before we do that, we just want to remind you about our social media channels. And let me get rid of this banner. On social media, follow us. Facebook.com/NoCredsREQ, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at NoCredsREQ, YouTube.com/NoCredsREQ. Give us a like. And also subscribe to the podcast. Find the podcast on your preferred platform. That includes iHeart, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneIn, iHeart, Pandora, Spreaker, wherever you podcast. Subscribe. We just had our 200th recorded episode in canon, of course. I don't count the special episodes like the 10 minutes and the morning cup and other things that I did, like the happy hour. Those things that we don't count those as canon. But we just had our 200th episode recording last week with our friend Rod Peterson, who was gracious enough to give us his time. So we would like you to please subscribe, tell a friend, share it, tell a friend about this podcast, and also rate and review. A 5-star rating would be very helpful. We noticed I've got quite a few 5-star ratings on Spotify and on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts. And also leave a review if you wouldn't mind. That way we could read a review on the air. And because we're a live show, engage with us. We're doing an Ask Us Anything tonight. And Ask Us Anything. Nothing is off the table. All right. Nothing's off the table, whether it be sports. I know it's a little scary. Sports, life advice, food and drink. Nothing is off the table. All right. But engage with the show. We're a live show every Tuesday at 8:05 Eastern. Next week, we go to 2 shows a week for the NFL season. We're going to do two Tuesday at 8:05 Eastern, Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock Eastern. Come join us. And again, we're a live show on YouTube, Twitter /X, and Facebook. Engage the show. We want your comments. We want your questions for Ask Us Anything. And I know, Dustin, you want to hear that magical sound. I know it makes me feel better, and it makes you feel better too. So I'm going to play that magical sound.
I want to hear it.
It's coming. All right, I had to fix my camera again because it looked a little off kilter. That's okay. I don't know if you noticed the painting in the background.
I do, and I know exactly where that painting is from.
Yes, and this painting could be yours because I painted it myself.
Yeah, a nice custom art piece from those heady spring days of 2020. Yeah, I think it was 2020 or 2021. Might have been either one of those years. They both kind of blend together for reasons. But mine, I'll tell you, mine was so bad, Ryan, that it no longer resides in this realm.
Oh my gosh!
I banned it to the shadow realm.
No. My Discord's not working on my.
Oh no! Did we get some responses via Discord?
No, we haven't. I'm trying to get Discord up and running, but I have to go to my phone. I'll have a vamp for a second. I'll be right back.
All right. So as Ryan said, we do have some. We are going to 2 shows a week. So make sure you tune in starting every Tuesday, most Tuesdays, unless I gum up the works. Sometimes Ryan and I do have other engagements or things that come up because life happens. But we are really excited to jump in and start getting after it twice a week. The Saturday brunches will return, which I encourage you to tune in for the Saturday brunches because they have a different energy than the Tuesday show. Although starting on, I think September 3rd is our first of the 2 show a week format.
You would be correct.
Tuesday, September 3rd. We're going to be going hard NFL. So the Tuesday shows, we're going to be reacting to the previous games. We're going to be reacting to the previous week's games. The Monday night game will be done by then, and we'll be reacting to the prior week entirely. And then the Saturday shows, we're going to be previewing the upcoming week. And because it's Ryan and I, there will be other shenanigans. We will talk some baseball every once in a while. The playoffs are going to happen. They're gearing up. And we will talk some NHL because the season is going to open as well. Yes. And we will probably rant about things yet unforeseen. And keep your eyes peeled on the YouTube channel as well because Ryan puts up 10 good minutes videos frequently, kind of goes in a different direction there with some of the content, a diverse array of interviews up there. And every once in a while, even I get in on the 10 good minutes. And you never know what you might find. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. Tonight we're doing an Ask Us Anything, as Ryan said. We're available on a myriad of podcast platforms, as Ryan's new shiny graphic informed us. So tune in on the YouTube side because you never know what new drops are coming. You never know what graphics updates we'll have. We're just full of surprises here at No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Or anything else for that matter.
Yeah. Tonight's going to have an odd energy. I already derailed us at the top of the show, but I have been my disgust with the referring of one Matt Eberflus referring to himself as Coach Flus. I just couldn't take it. Well, I couldn't take it. Other than that, I've enjoyed Hard Knocks. And what do I think about the Bears this season and their chances in the NFC North? Tune in next Tuesday to find out. I'll probably be bringing back the Bobby Ingram jersey.
Hey, all right. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if you saw what was posted on social media today in regards to what Caleb Williams gave to his offensive lineman.
Oh, no. I
That
did not see
necklace.
what's posted.
Okay. Gosh, how do I describe this necklace? So he gave a necklace to his offensive lineman. Now, it's typically it's just done stuff like this is done when a milestone happens, like
Yeah.
Dak has 1,000-yard season, or they get to a Super Bowl, or it's stuff like that, like a new contract, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Caleb Williams gave this $50,000 pendant to his entire offensive line, and this guy's got money. All right, Caleb Williams,
Yeah.
money. He's got NIL money from USC, probably from, I believe he got. I'm trying to remember which company gave him money.
Did he? Because he was previous to USC. Was he at Oklahoma?
He was at Oklahoma.
Okay. Yeah.
And he made around $10 million in NIL deals when he was at USC. He won a Heisman Trophy in 2022, excuse me. But this is the necklace that was given to his offensive lineman, Dustin. Now, the folks at home, I'm sorry. I had to see it.
I'm waiting it with bated breath to see.
I had to see it. Now you have to see it too. Behold. That is the pendant given to his offensive lineman. Now, supposedly, it's supposed to be a heart shape.
I was going to say, he's going to argue it's a heart.
That's not a heart.
No.
That is definitely not a heart.
That's a coin purse. That
is for certain a coin purse.
Yeah.
A truck nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing.
And can you imagine? Okay, because I'm going to take it in. Dr. Lady in the comments correctly points out that's quite a vascular heart.
Oh, that's not a heart.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Imagine being the jeweler that Mr. Caleb Williams commissioned to design this, and he's going, no. It needs more veins. Veinier.
More veins. I said more veins. So our buddies, our friends of the show, Levac and Gaz, Jeff Levac, Tom Gosloski, were talking about this particular pendant today. And Levac was making all sorts of jokes on the show. And I sent them a text message, and that's what I told him. So Caleb Williams is going to be a vast difference maker for the Bears. There's more. I have more.
Okay. All right.
He has quite the cojones to give his offensive lineman that kind of pendant.
Yeah.
Here's my last one. I just hope he doesn't give Bears fans the shaft this season.
Okay, I like number 2 the best so
Thank
far.
you.
I think that was a good one. But man, like there's no other way to interpret it. If you want it to be a heart, at least have it hang the correct way on the pendant. And okay, on
the veins. Why?
Yes, the veins. There's too many veins. But on the principle, I don't think I have a problem with this. A lot of people have said a lot of things about Caleb Williams. I don't know enough about his college career because my apathy for college football has been well documented on the show. But a lot of people have a lot of things to say about him, I think because he's a higher profile person. And with that comes a lot of opinions. But he seems, and I understand, in Hard Knocks, we're getting an edited look at everything. But he seems to be a decent teammate so far, trying to learn from the coaches, trying to bond with his teammates. And I think maybe this is just a little shout out to his offensive line saying, hey, thanks in advance for protecting me all season. Or, we're going to play with heart and or balls, how you want to look at that pendant. So I don't have a problem with it, but what a bold design choice.
That design took balls.
They went to Balls Are Us, as one Bruce
When I said
Bruce Pritchard would say.
When I said we were ballers, I didn't mean it that way, Caleb.
Oh man.
Good Lord.
Yeah,
Good Lord.
That's
Dr. Lady also says, Sports Ball, welcome back. Well, thanks. We were here last week too. So
glad to be back though.
And Dr. Lady, I know your favorite sport is baseball. We'll talk about that in the second segment. We're gonna talk about Danny Jansen. And she also says to paraphrase Obi-Wan Kenobi, that's no heart.
Yeah.
That's no heart. That's a pair of testicles. Your best friend Dave saying ball jazzlin. Dr. Lady's very excited to talk about baseball. Yes. Actually, you know what? Before we haven't got any questions in the chat, unfortunately, but we're waiting. We're waiting. I invited some people. I invited our belly up friends. I invited let the people know about it. Actually, you know what? I'll talk to. Let's see if Levac. Nah, actually, I won't bother them. They've probably done enough today. But I want to ask you one discussion. This has become a discussion piece in the baseball realm, I guess. Mm-hmm. American League MVP. We've got these stands in Kansas City, and rightfully so, who have said that Bobby Witt Jr. should be the MVP candidate for American League. Meanwhile, you've got two other gentlemen in New York by the names of Aaron Judge and Juan Soto who have contributed as well to the conversation. Is Bobby Witt somebody that's going to be in contention for the MVP? Do we think he'll win it, or
I don't think he'll win it. Off the top of my head, and I'll tell you, losing MLB Network on my cable subscription, yes, I still have traditional cable, really has hampered my baseball style. But Bobby Witt, he will be considered. He's done enough to be considered for the MVP, in my opinion. However, these are just facts, and I'm going to sound like a New York a-hole for saying it.
Do it.
But not enough people. Kansas City is not a big enough market. In order to win the MVP in a place like Kansas City, you have to be transcendent. You have to be far above anybody else. If somebody is playing better in Boston or New York or LA or any of the bigger markets, they're going to be televised more because it's the bigger markets. They're going to be talked about more, and they're going to be front in the fans / voters' minds. It's just the facts. I think that Aaron Judge, chasing his own home run record, you cannot argue with. He's one of the best hitters in today's game. There's no denying it, because if it was based off, and it also matters how your team is doing. Some voters, they factor that in very, very heavily. And I remember a while back, people didn't want to give, I think it was Felix Hernandez the Cy Young one year, because he was great, but his team was terrible. Mm-hmm. So, you have to factor in that argument as well. And I think the Yankees have a better record because there's another person. If we were going off of stats, I think Elly De La Cruz has done enough to be considered with his steals and everything else that he's bringing to the game, because don't look now, but he's also improving his batting average. He's not striking out as much. from as much as he was striking out at a prodigious rate early in the season. But I think Bobby Witt has done enough to be considered, but I do not think he will win it because of the market that he is in. And it's a terrible thing. I mean, look at Mike Trout. Nobody really knows how good he is because he's out in Anaheim and he just kind of chills there. Now, I think
not only that. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Not
Yeah.
only that, but he keeps getting hurt.
Yes.
He's an exceptional talent, but he can't stay off the injured list. He keeps getting injured.
Yeah.
And Dr. Lady will tell you
Yes.
firsthand. She's an Angels fan. She knows she's had that. She's going through that agony.
Yeah.
She said it herself. I know how good Mike Trout is. She's seen him live and in person. And it's a shame that he racked up all these injuries.
Yeah.
Because of the immense talent that he has. He has MVP talent. He's a guy who could, when he's healthy, be a Triple Crown contender every single year. But he's always injured. He's always on the injured list. He always has these strange injuries.
Yeah.
Or just these injuries that are frustrating. You got to be frustrated as an Angels fan, not because of the injuries he's had, but the fact that the Angels haven't been good.
Yes.
And we actually, it's funny that Dr. Lady and I actually had a chat about this the other day on another server, another Discord server, but she was basically saying that the Angels, the last time the Angels were really good was 2009.
Oh, okay.
That was the year that the Yankees, them and the Yankees went to the ALCS, and the Yankees beat them in 6 games.
Yep.
If A-Rod doesn't make that great play at third base, there's no 2009 World Series for the Yankees. So, but it's got to be frustrating if you're an Angels fan because not just because of the injuries to Trout, but also because the Angels haven't been good in a decade and a half.
Yeah.
And they try so hard to try to build pieces around. They try so hard to build pieces. They bring in Albert Pujols. They bring in Anthony Rendon on that ridiculous contract after he wins the World Series in 2019 with the Washington Nationals. And that was a huge mistake too. They signed Strasburg to this huge contract, and they let go. They let Rendon walk. And look at what's happened to Rendon since.
Oh, yeah. He's been injury prone. He can't stay healthy. And he also had I think a suspension or something a few years ago for something he said to a fan. I can't remember. He's had some bumps in the road.
It was an interaction with an Oakland A's fan. He got suspended for I think 5 games.
Yeah.
Yep. Real-time research.
Yeah. But he's had a rough go of it.
4 games. 4 games. I was close.
Oh, okay. You were
last
on
season.
The money. You were on the money. But I will say, and I do, this is supposed to be an ask us anything, but I'm going to ask Dr. Lady a question, twofold question. One, if Mike Trout played in LA, do you agree that he would be much more well-known? If he played for the Dodgers instead of the Angels, would he be much more well-known? Because I think overall the Dodger brand, quote unquote, is much more popular than the Angels are. And also, would you rank Angels ownership? I think it's still Artie Moreno. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's still Artie Moreno. Much to say.
He's got to be one of the worst owners in sports. Because he does try to make a splash, but he fails miserably. That Pujols contract, everyone outside of St. Louis knew that the tail end of that contract was going to be so bad. And this is no disrespect to Albert. He tried to live up to it, but Albert was in his prime, but at the tail end of that prime when they inked him to that. And then not even doing nothing to try to hang on to Shohei Ohtani. And pretty much everyone knew that Ohtani was going to leave the Angels, and they didn't even try to trade him to get some value for him. They bungled that situation so bad.
Yeah, I'm just doing a quick
Yeah.
research thing here because I was going to talk to you. I was going to tell you about this T-shirt that Cody Rhodes had made for your Edmonton Oilers. I'm trying to find it.
Oh man.
But I'll get to that in a second. But she's answering your question. Dr. Lee is answering your question. She said if he was a Dodger, meaning Trout, yes. Look at Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, but I think Shohei Ohtani kind of transcended that. He was the and I know I take things into the video game world, but he was the cover athlete of MLB The Show when he was still on the Angels. And I think it was because so many people were fascinated by the fact that he can pitch and hit, and he's really good at both. So I think he's one of those rare players that can transcend a market. But I would agree with you. He is much more popular now that he is a Dodger.
Yeah. And she also said it's still Artem Moreno. He is so bad at spending money. I mean, if he got a lot of it,
Yeah.
might as well spend it. All right, let's get to some of these questions here. We do have some questions in the chat. We have Dr. Lady asking, what can we do to prepare for Y2K? Should we tell her?
Yeah, and I mean, but I think the first thing is we should say nobody can prepare for the walls of Jericho. Once it's put on you. Oh, Y2K, my apologies. Y2K, my apologies. Yeah,
that's definitely an office reference.
Yeah. I do recall in the high school we had to check to see if computers were Y2K compliant. Do you remember that, Ryan? You're doing the test. And to this day it brings a smile to my face because my mom had a cabinet growing up, and it was a yellow cabinet. It was like this old cabinet, and it was in the basement. It served as like a pantry. And I started joking around 1999 or so. I started calling it the Y2K cabinet because I was like, oh, this is how we're going to prepare. And so for years, right up until the day she died, my mom would say to me, I'd be over at the house and she'd say, could you go get something from the Y2K? She carried it on. She carried on the joke.
Oh my goodness. All right, Dave asks, why are dogs better than cats? I like both. I've got a cat. I tag along. He's currently sleeping in another room. Show mascot and co-mascot Pickles. Your sister's your sister's dog.
Yes. My nephew there, my dog nephew. All right. I will admit there are some cats that I love very, very much. Tagalong is a cool cat. But cats overall, you got to be careful with cats. There's some really cool cats, but some of them are really moody. Same thing can happen with dogs, but it's much more. I prefer dogs, Dave. I'm with you. Nothing against cats. I do not have a dislike for cats. I will pet a cat all day. But to me, dogs are just a little bit more emotional. Now they're tougher to take care of. But a dog is always happy to see you without fail. And when you're having a bad day, if a dog comes up to you and is wagging its tail and is excited to see you when you come home at the end of the day, it can lift anybody's spirits. Whereas sometimes a cat can be like totally indifferent as to whether you exist as long as you feed them.
I have a story about that.
Right.
So last time we went to Outer Banks in 2022, we came home and my sister walked in the door. Oreo comes right up to her.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace, Oreo.
Yes, R.I.P. Oreo.
Tagalong was in his bed on top of the desk in the living room. Looked at my sister, was like, eh.
Yeah.
I walk in. He sees me and hears my voice. He jumps down, runs up to me, starts rubbing against my leg. I missed you. So I'm his human.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't think there's any disputing that Oreo chose Shannon for sure, because Shannon kept Oreo alive for many years.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. Guys, I mean, we spent thousands upon thousands of dollars trying to figure out what was wrong with her.
Yeah.
Finally figured it out, and well, now unfortunately we had to let her go
Mhm.
last March. But we're trying to figure out if we want to get more. If we want to bring in another pair
Mhm.
of cats, just so
Okay.
Tagalong has some company. So
Yeah.
we'll figure it out. We'll
Mhm.
figure it out. Dr. Lady says, I'm hating the short leash on pitches. I don't think it helps the pitchers at all. What say you guys? It's a great question.
Yeah. Do you want to go first on this one, Ryan, or should I?
Yeah, I'm
Should
going to
I jump in?
paraphrase Tom Selleck and Mr. Baseball as Jack Elliott to coach the chief, the big chief, where he says, where I'm going to paraphrase when they have their one-on-one meeting,
Mhm.
the Japanese tradition. We drink. I tell you whatever I feel. You can't hold it against me. So they're drinking Johnny Walker
Yeah.
Scotch. I think they were drinking Gold Label.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember, but I mentioned it in the review. Whatever label it was, I
Yeah.
remember mentioning it in the review.
So they're drinking Johnny Walker Scotch, smoking cigars in Uchiyama's house, and Jack Elliott's saying to them, "These kids are good. Let the kids play. Let the kids play. This is baseball. If the kid can stretch a single into a double, let him. If he gives up a home run, don't. If a pitcher gives up a home run, don't pull him so soon. You gotta see what kind of stuff he has to get out of a jam. And I
Mhm.
think this is what the same thing is with these short leashes. I think part of it is now we're seeing a lot more Tommy John surgeries. We see a lot more
Yeah.
pitchers ending their seasons with Johnny Walker, Tommy John
Johnny Walker surgery is a
with
different
Johnny Walker
kind.
surgeries.
Coma.
Yeah, with Tommy John surgeries because they're I think the mistake right now is a lot of the pitchers that are coming through these systems or coming through, they're being taught that you have to get people out by throwing gas.
Yeah.
Keep throwing gas, keep throwing smoke. That's how you get batters out. Look at Greg Maddux. Look what
Yeah.
he did in his career. Look what Nolan Ryan did. Yes, he had gas all the way up until his 40s. He was throwing smoke. But guess what? He also had control.
Yes.
He had great control on his pitches. Same thing with Tom Glavine. John Smoltz threw gas when he had to, but he also had very good control.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of these managers, and we can talk about Aaron Boone and his mismanagement of pitching is all day long. I mean, they're losing right now to the freaking Nationals. They're going to lose 2 out of 3 to the freaking Nationals.
A lot of youth on that team. A lot
But
of youth on the team for the Nationals.
yes, but I think pitchers they're being micromanaged to the point where their development or it haywires it makes their brain it wires their brain differently, and they get this thought of I can't get out of an inning because I'm being pulled early or I can't get out of a jam, and they're bringing in so many relievers. I mean, look at what the Rays did. The Rays did the not the starter but the opener.
Oh,
Where the pitcher who was starting that night threw 2 or 3 innings and they just did bullpen the rest of the night. That drives me nuts. That tells me you have no confidence in your pitching, in your starting pitching, and that I think that messes with the psyche of the starting pitcher.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that you're right, Ryan. And it's like this magical thing now. Now, if a pitcher even starts approaching 100 pitches, they're like, "Oh, we got to take him out. We got to take him out. You can't go over 100 now." And that's the thing. You're not even. That's why it's even. It incenses me sometimes because there was a pitcher recently. I can't remember. I can't remember who it was, but he had a no hitter going into like the 8th inning, and they pulled him because he was over 100 pitches, and it's like, come on, let the guy is pitching well. He obviously still has his stuff. Let him finish this out. Let him see what happens. It goes back. It's not helping the mental makeup. And I do think that there's something in the way that younger kids are being coached as they come up in high school and all this kind of stuff. There's not I think that form is starting to go by the wayside. The emphasis on form, the correct form with which to pitch, because our arms are not meant to do that. You have to do it a very specific way. And, I've always hated the shorter leash on pitchers. Even going back to the late 90s, early 2000s, that's when you start to see the specialists come in out of the bullpen. It'd be a left-handed specialist. There'd be one guy whose job it was to get this left-handed batter out, and then he's out.
And he's done. He pitches 1/3 of an inning, and he's done for the night.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though: it kept your bullpen fresh. We're seeing all these bullpens blow out their arms and get exhausted by the end of the season, and it's just how do you do it? How do you do it without getting in trouble for steroids?
You need more
PDEs.
You need more long relievers. Us as Yankee fans, Ryan, we remember the witch doctor, aka Ramiro Mendoza. Yep. How many times did he save the Yankees on those late 90s, early 2000s team? Because if a starter didn't have it, Ramiro could come in and give you a good 4 quality innings to get you to your pen. You need more long relievers. I feel like the art of the long reliever is also getting lost.
And it brings me to another point. A lot of we talked about the late 90s, early 2000 Yankees. Joe Torre was their manager. Joe Torre wasn't over reliant on statistics and pitch rate and spin rate and pitch count all the time, like all these other managers are in the national in the Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Stop with the stats. Stop.
Yeah.
That's what kills pitchers too. It's the over reliance on the statistics and all the war and all that, the war pig. I know, Jan. On wins over replacement, all this obsession over stats. It's just drives me insane. At least have some touch, like Dusty Baker. Retired last season. Hey, look,
Dusty Baker destroyed bullpens, though.
He also destroyed Mark Pryor. Don't forget about that.
Yeah,
he learned though. He learned. Yeah. He won a World Series in 2022. Retired last year with the Astros. So, but even though he was old school, he still had an idea of how to manage pitchers well.
That's the era that I miss, and maybe part of it is to do with our age, but we don't have those managers anymore that rely on gut, like Joe Torre, like Bobby Cox, like Charlie Manuel. And as much as I hate to pay longtime Red Sox manager and now Cleveland Guardians manager Terry Francona a compliment, he's one of the ones left, I think, that relies on his gut. He's old school that way.
Actually, I think Tito is no longer the manager.
Oh, he's not. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm out.
Indiardians.
Oh, yeah. He was. I kind of lost track of him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
Speaking of pitchers, Dr. Lady asks, whenever Dennis Eckersley does color commentary for the Dodgers, he can't hide his disdain. Shouldn't he get over the Gibby home run? It's been 36 years. And for those of you who don't know baseball, try to remember his first name, Gibson. Oh, God, I can't remember his first name. Kirk Gibson.
Yeah,
Kirk Gibson.
One arm.
With one good leg.
Leg, that's what it was.
In game 1 of the 1988 World Series, the Dodgers, the A's were up 4-2 in the bottom of the 9th inning. Eckersley comes in. Eckersley was pretty much automatic in 1988, excuse me, the 1988 World Series. He comes in. He's pretty much automatic throughout the entire season. Two men get on. Kirk Gibson comes in as a pinch hitter, gets to bat, hits a home run out of Chavez Ravine. Dodgers win 5-4, win the World Series in 5 games. Apparently, Dennis Eckersley is still sore about it. Yeah.
He can't
yes,
believe what he just saw.
So, yes, thank you, Vince Scully.
It was Jack Buck.
No, Jack Buck. Excuse me. Jack Buck was that was the 1991 World Series with Kirby Puckett. Game 6 of the World Series.
I gotta do real time research.
Yes, real time research.
I gotta do.
Yes. So to answer your question, Dr. Liddy, yes. Dennis Eckersley should get over the home run he gave up to Kirk Gibson. He should also learn don't put a fastball over the plate where Gibby could hit it, and that's where he hit it, and it was fait accompli from there, and they never came back from that.
Jack Buck. It says World Series 1988 Game 1. Jack Buck call of Gibson memorable at bat.
Well, you know what? Vince Scully was on the TV call for NBC. Jack Buck was on the radio call for, I believe it was CBS Radio. And then Jack Buck was on the CBS Major League Baseball in the 90s too. So I remember that.
I remember the "We will see you tomorrow night."
That's what it was. We will see you tomorrow night in the 1991 World Series. Yes. Baruch says, "Hey Ryan, hey Baruch, how you doing?" Washington's up 8-2 on the Yankees in the end of the sixth.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? They got the Washington Nationals. It's going to take them a little while, but I think the Nationals will eventually be good. James Woods is up now. Dylan Cruz is up now. Two highly touted prospects. I believe Dylan Cruz was the number 4 overall prospect in baseball. And who's ahead of him? James Woods. So, I mean, the Nationals at least have some stuff to be excited about. I don't know how Cruz did. His debut was yesterday. I watched part of the game. The Yankees won 5-2, thankfully for that one.
Love James Woods in the hard. I love James Woods in the hard way. Dave asks, what can we do to rein in these crazy huge contracts in both Major League Baseball and the NFL? I don't think there's really anything we can do. Dave.
That train's left the station.
Yeah, that train's left the station with all the TV money revenue coming in, because it's coming to the NHL. It's coming, and although I think NHL owners learned their lesson after the first lockout when they were given all these 10-year, $100+ million contracts to all these players. Now you're seeing much more cap-friendly, budget-friendly deals where everything is front-loaded. Like Jack Hughes's deal, I think it's $8.5 million AAV per year, and I guess right now the Oilers and Leon Draisaitl's team, they're on a standstill with his AAV. It's gonna be fine. Speaking of the Oilers, I found it. I found the tweet.
Okay, all right.
I found the tweet from Rogers Place this afternoon. I guess WWE SmackDown is going to be in it's going to be in Edmonton this weekend or this Friday.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and share what he shared on social media. They're going to sell this shirt at Rogers Center.
It's the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, a little collaboration effort between my friends on the Edmonton Oilers and myself.
Oh man.
Got some friends on the squad, and of course, the message is the same. Finish your story, guys. Finish your story, Edmonton. Can't wait to see it. Too sweet.
Yep, that was a shirt.
Oh man, I hope he's right.
Do you want it?
No, I don't want that shirt because I feel like I would jinx it. And that is you got to have a serious Caleb Williams pendant to put that shirt out.
Yeah. So
man.
So to answer Dave's question, I don't think we can really do anything.
Yeah.
I think part of it is who wants to win. And with Major League Baseball, they don't have a salary cap. I don't think they'll ever have a salary cap until I come to power in 2030. We're gonna talk.
It's gonna be you.
We're gonna
Dr.
talk
Lady.
Major League Baseball, MLBPA. We're gonna have a special system like the NBA where you can pay your top players as much money as you want, and everybody else is a free agent.
You gotta
It's gonna be a
okay.
Larry Bird exception in the Major League Baseball. In Major League Baseball, it's gonna be a Larry Bird exception.
We gotta do it because we talked about it on earlier shows.
Mm-hmm.
You and Dr. Lady have to debate for the spot
We
of
do.
commissioner, and I think that we should make it a 10 good minutes. I will moderate the debate.
I agree. Your Uncle Al says, "Beach vibes, my dude." Shut up, Al.
Greetings from, I believe you are coming to us from the shores of Carolina, my friend.
Yes, your uncle and your aunt are currently in North Carolina, which is where we should be.
Yeah.
So
yeah, life happens, Life happens.
Dave was talking about Y2K. Says I tripped the main breakers to the house as my parents counted to 1. Wow,
that took a pendant, Dave. That took some pendants too.
I can see that. I can see that. Al says dogs have owners, cats have servants.
I think it's a very good way of putting it. There are a few exceptions with cats, but there are a few.
Dave agrees with Al. He also says, let's go Braves. Al makes a good point. Greg Maddux could get anyone to strike out except Tony Gwynn.
Yeah, Tony Gwynn gave a lot of people problems.
Yeah, I think there was some crazy stat about Tony Gwynn in the entirety of his career struck out less times than some and I think he struck out less times in the 90s than some batters did in a season.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. He's my favorite player is a Yankee, but Tony Gwynn is right up there. He's probably when I surprised myself, right? I took a trip to Kentucky a few years ago, did the Bourbon Trail, loved it. I want to go back. But one of the stops on our trip was the Louisville Slugger Museum, and they had a bunch of bats there that were players' bats that had been used, and you could hold them. And my sister held Derek Jeter's bat, and there's a picture of her holding Derek Jeter's bat. And the guy goes to oh man, and the guy goes to hand me the bat. He said, "Do you want to hold it?" And I said, "Actually, is that Tony Gwynn's bat over there?" And he said, "Yes, that's Tony Gwynn's bat." And I said, "I think I'd like to hold that one, please." And so I did. Tony Gwynn was the man. And the next time you see Uncle Al, ask him to do his impression of Tony Gwynn. It's pretty good.
All right, I'm doing the math in regards to strikeouts he had. This is ridiculous. Listen, okay. So in 1990, I'm going to read off every year he batted in the 90s, all right?
Yeah.
And how many strikeouts he had each season. In 1990, he had 23, 91, 19, 92, 16, 93, 19, 94, cut short because greed.
Yeah.
19, and he was chasing Ted Williams that season. He hit 394 that season.
394 Pale Ale, also very good beer he did in collaboration.
Quite delicious. And some of the profits go to the Tony Gwynn Foundation. 1995, 15, 1996, 17, 1997, 28, 1998, 18, 1999, 14.
Oh my God.
Good Lord.
Oh man. And that's the thing. When you're a kid, I'll fully admit it. When you're a kid, I didn't fully appreciate Tony Gwynn until he was gone because he wasn't really a home run hitter. And back in the late 90s, that's when the home run became in vogue. We all know what happened. Steroids, everybody turned a blind eye because we were hungry for baseball again. The 94 strike hurt the game of baseball. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It hurt the perception of the game of baseball. And so the home run was what brought it back. But amidst all that home run craziness, we had Tony Gwynn, who was just a unicorn out there dominating. But I didn't appreciate it fully. Once I got older, I started to appreciate the greatness of Tony Gwynn.
Yeah, I remember having his poster in the 90s of the hitting machine. It was kind of like a Tony Gwynn. Like half of him was a photo, the other half of him was like a Da Vinci sketch.
Uh-huh.
He had the man with the arms and the in the sketch of the helicopter, the initial helicopter sketch.
Yeah.
It was like that. I love that poster. Love
Oh,
that.
nice.
Dr. Lady saying, I hate openers so much. Agreed. Dave says today's pitching is so much about speed. Max and Glavin and also Smoltz were grandmasters of control. They were excellent. Your uncle is going crazy with the cycling comments. Can you believe how wide open the Vuelta is right now? Nope, don't care.
Bikes.
Bikes. Dave saying speed is blowing out arms.
Yeah.
Dr. Lady, nobody cares about combined no hitters. Let the pitcher pitch. Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Pair control with consistency with picking the right pitches at the right time, and you will win. There's some clips going around. I believe this was on Major League MLB Network. They had a special about Greg Maddux.
Yeah.
And how he used to call his own pitches.
Oh.
It was that crazy how good he was.
Wow. Yeah. And I mean, he learned because Greg Maddux, he didn't have blow you away speed, but he had speed at the beginning of his career. And as he got older, though, he learned how to pitch exclusively with control.
And we'll leave off this AMA with Dr. Lady saying, in a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened. I don't remember what that's from.
That might be the Vince Scully call that you were thinking of. That might be his call. Or was that another Jack Buck call? I can't remember, but I know that call, but I think that might be the Vince Scully version of the I don't believe what I just saw, because as you pointed out,
that was Vince Scully. That was Vince Scully.
Yeah.
All right.
It's the Vin call, believe me.
Yeah.
I believe you. I'm not messing around.
Yeah. I remember watching some of that World Series. I remember distinctly my grandpa McCarthy was a Mets fan because he was originally a Brooklyn Dodgers fan.
Poor guy.
Growing up. Then they moved to Los Angeles, moved to Chavez Ravine, and then a couple of years later the Mets were introduced, and became a Mets fan because he hated the Yankees. It's like, all right. Good on you, Grandpa.
But I remember people feel that.
But I remember that 1988 season, particularly the NLCS, and us listening to the radio in the mountains. We're listening to game, I think it was 4 or 5. Was it game 6? I can't remember which game it was, but that was the era where the New York Mets had all those teams that won, the team that won the 86 World Series, and they just couldn't get it together to win multiple. That was one of those what ifs, like that could have been possible. So, all right, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna talk some NFL news, and we'll talk about some Major League Baseball history. So, actually, also I have a fantasy football rant. So
yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah. I had to mention that. But stay tuned for more No Credentials Required. This episode of No Credentials Required is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good, quality coffee with no bullshit and no filler, Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim to only serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you with the value you deserve for your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air roasted, 100% money back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and receive 15% off your order. That's right, folks. Get yourself some. We haven't talked about them in a while because we haven't had too many Saturday brunches.
Yeah.
We haven't had too many Saturday brunches, but today we're going to talk about Invader Coffee. And it's a great company, veteran owned. If you love your country and you love veterans, you want to support this company. Our link is in the description box on Facebook and on YouTube. You can use our affiliate link and also use promo code BELLYUP at checkout. Get 15% off your order. I need to make an order this week because I am out of the breaking case of emergency. I'm sorry. No, don't California, my Texas. I'm going to get myself some break in case of emergency. And Dustin, I found this out today.
Mm-hmm.
They now sell cold brew in cans.
Oh man, I might have to try that out. I'm going to be checking that out after the show, and I'm also keeping a eye to see when the pumpkin pecan flavor comes back, because I do enjoy that one for a little fall. Call me basic all you want, but I enjoy it because Invader flavors the coffee right. It doesn't overpower it.
It's right. It's right. They don't, because it's a special. It's air roasted, because it's air roasted, and because it's fair trade. You get great beans, none of that acidity, none of that bitterness that comes with that regular cup of like certain other companies like Cardux and Bulgers and
Blean Flountain.
Blean Flountain. But I'm glad they don't hear these ads. Get yourself some Invader coffee.
I hope they do.
I hope they do too. They're just like these guys are cute. If ever we're in Austin, Texas, we'll give Invader Coffee a visit. But please go to our affiliate link in the description. Help the show. Buy some coffee from Invader Coffee. Get 15% off your order. You might have to pay a little bit more in shipping, but guess what? It comes to your door in a matter of days, not weeks. So you get yourself some fresh coffee, whether you want it whole bean like I do, because I like to grind it myself, or you get it ground. It comes to your door. It's air roasted. It's fresh. You'll enjoy it like we do on Saturday mornings for our Saturday brunch program.
Mm-hmm.
Get yourself some Invader Coffee. Buy some today. Use our affiliate link in the description.
And I thought you were going to say that you had to go on after the show and put together a shipment because you were out of the Backstop Mendoza Line Challenge. But I don't know this for a fact. I don't know this for a fact. I could have lost this. I haven't been keeping track. We were both keeping track pretty good in the beginning of the season, and then we just kind of, sometimes it's tough to keep track of things.
Well, you know what? You mentioned it. We haven't really talked about it in a while. So you know what? We might as well break out the Backstop. We might as well break out an update for the Backstop Mendoza.
Why not? We're heading into baseball talk anyway.
That's right. Let's do it.
Mendoza!
That's why you got to watch on YouTube or watch live, folks, wherever. Because you'll see stuff like that.
They'll still hear it in the on the podcast side too.
Yeah, but the graphic brings something special.
Yeah. The Backstop Mendoza Line Challenge update. So right now, we have two guys that are still in contention.
Both of us? Both
of us have men in contention.
Oh man, so I could be buying you coffee because in the beginning it was looking bleak for you.
Very much could. So
yeah,
Martin Maldonado, 48 games, 135 at bats, hitting a staunch 119. And my guy, the one guy I have left, Luke Maley. 46 games, 115 at bats. Very stout. 157 average.
Oh man. The problem, what if both of these guys make the whole season without going over the Mendoza line? Then we just have to buy each other coffee.
I think the tiebreaker is who has the lowest batting average.
Okay, yeah, I think we did establish those. I am shocked though. My guy Christian Betancourt, or did he not meet the required minimum games? Because I think he ended up getting hurt. I can't remember, but he was batting. Remember, he was batting like a 0.
Well, so was Martin Maldonado.
Yeah.
No, Christian Betancourt is out.
Oh, he's out. Wow. He really brought it back.
He is now hitting 220.
Oh, man. Okay. So he got hot. It was like when you're like, I'm taking Ryan Jeffers. And I'm like, oh, that's a good pick. And then he caught fire.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. So right now it's between Martin Maldonado and Luke Maley.
Hey, look at this. We made it at least.
Upwards.
Yeah, this ended up being more entertaining than we thought. We thought we were going to have to come up with something new before the All-Star break. We didn't have
Yeah.
to.
I thought it would be over. I thought it'd be over by like June or July, but no, it has not. So that has been your Backstop Mendoza line update.
Mendoza!
So just to describe for those of you on the podcast side, my element is a Toronto Blue Jay swinging at a pitch that is way outside the zone for strike 3 with nobody on. And it rolls to the backstop. And I'm trying to figure out who that pitcher is. It's a Yankee, but I'm trying to figure out who that pitcher is. I'm going to play it one more time.
All right.
I'm trying to figure out by the
eyes
number.
on it.
Mendoza!
Got to figure out the year because who was 25 at whatever year?
Well, I know Jim Abbott wore number 25, but that definitely wasn't Jim Abbott.
No.
Because it would have been like his right arm would have been.
Yeah, he had the position that because Jim Abbott's story is amazing. Just a side note, the way that he was able to figure out the pitch and do it very, very well, inspiring.
And he hit he pitched a no-hitter.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right, so I'm trying to find out who is number 25 on that particular. I'm trying to remember the year.
Yeah, see, I don't know the year of the clip. I'm going to say it looks like somewhere in the 80s, but I don't know. Based on the unis or anything like that, because the Yankees really didn't have any sort of like crazy uniforms. Like you can look at certain Astros uniforms or like Padres uniforms and you know the era because they didn't have those uniforms for very long. Or Dr. Lee, how about
Greg Cataret?
Oh, all right.
Yes, the legendary Greg Cataret, who played for the Yankees in 1989.
Hey, I was on it. Yeah, but Dr. Lady, do you remember those Angels uniforms from the 90s with the pinstripes? I remember. And Pepperidge Farm also.
She was just asking how old the clip was. I don't remember. I'll do some more research on that.
If you said he pitched for the Yankees in 1989, then
he's a lefty. He's a lefty, so I believe it was Greg Cataret, and I believe that was 1989 because he wore number 25 for the Yankees in 1989. And the one before that, the person who the player who wore number 25 before Greg Cataret, Tommy John.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The innovator of the surgery that we now know today as Tommy John surgery.
Yes, not Jack Daniels or not Johnny Walker surgery.
That saved his career.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk some NFL. And there's one notable sign that happened earlier this week. I believe it was Monday, I want to say. I believe it was Monday, but let me double check. Cee Dee Lamb ends his holdout with the Dallas Cowboys, and he signed a 4-year. Let's see.
It was 136 mil, I think.
4 years. Yep. It was on Monday. Per Tom Pelissero. 4 years, $136 million with $100 million guaranteed and a $38 million signing bonus. Now, here's my question to you, Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
Will it be worth it? And actually, it's a 2-part question. I should have said.
Yeah.
A, will it be worth it? And B, will the Cowboys have enough to sign both Dak and Parsons to contract extensions? Micah Parsons, two contract extensions, because Micah Parsons, his rookie deal is up soon too. He's eligible for an extension, and Dak Prescott, he's a free agent after this season. So, yeah.
Okay. The Cee Dee Lamb deal, I don't know if it'll be worth it. I mean, for the Cowboys, he was their entire offense last year. Let's just call it what it was. He was their entire offense last year, apparently during his holdout. or the negotiations or whatever. He was working out extremely hard, getting ready. And this is nothing against CD, but that's going to be a hard contract for anyone to live up to. It makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. And I'm going to answer this as if I was running the Cowboys. This all but ensures that if I were running the Cowboys, we don't bring Dak back. Because say what you will about Dak Prescott. Do I think he's as good as people think he is, especially Cowboys fans? No. Does he always choke in the playoffs? Sorry, Dak, but you do. You choke in the playoffs all the time. Look at what you did last year against the Packers. You and your Cowboys laid an egg after you dominated the regular season. You were very good during the regular season. I think they had 13 wins last year. I'm trying to remember. But if you give Cee Dee Lamb this much money, I don't see how you can compete. This, in my opinion, ensures that Dak will hit the open market and he will command money in free agency, because look what Kirk Cousins got from the Falcons this past year. And I thought that you brought up, so I don't think the Cowboys will have enough to bring Dak and Micah Parsons back. And if I was GM of the Cowboys, I would focus on extending Parsons off that rookie deal, because I think Dak, I can't remember Dak's age, but he's been your quarterback for a while now. You've put weapons around him, and he hasn't been able to get you over the hump. So I think you got to move on from Dak. I don't know who else you would get at quarterback, but for the money that Dak was going to command as a hits it, it's not going to be worth it. Extend Parsons, and now you've given your money to CD. You've made up your mind essentially. But my question for you brought up an astute point. How much to the degree do you think this resets the wide receiver market for future deals? Because you brought up one New York Jet.
I did. So a couple thoughts on what you said about Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's 31 years old. He just turned 31 a couple weeks ago. Fellow Leo, unite. Yeah, I think Dak is going to walk, and Trey Lance is currently on the cheap.
Oh, he's 5 picks in a preseason game.
This year he'll earn $5.3 million, and then it has a 5th-year option because he's still in his rookie deal.
Yeah.
But here's the high comedy of it all. This year, I figured the scenario would be like this. This year, Dak goes to the playoffs. They don't get past the divisional round again. He walks as a free agent. Trey Lance takes over as quarterback, and who knows who will be his coach next year, because Mike McCarthy is in his final season and his deal on his 5-year deal. Who knows who's going to be who knows who will be the coach next season? Lincoln Riley, knock knock knock. But high comedy would be Dak Prescott taking the Cowboys to the playoffs again. They don't get past the divisional round. He walks in free agency. Trey Lance is named the starting quarterback next year. Dallas Cowboys win a Super Bowl.
Oh, man. Dude, Trey Lance, okay. The pendants on the Niners to basically come out and admit that they made a mistake.
Yeah.
They drafted Trey Lance with the 3rd overall pick in that draft. And how long did it take them to be like, oops? And they at least got some value for Trey Lance, though, because and this is nothing against Trey. I hope he can find a way to rebuild his career and maybe live up to the promise that he once had. But you're throwing 5 picks in a preseason game. You are not ready, my friend. You are not ready.
But he did have a nice touchdown.
He did, and he had the run for the touchdown, which was pretty exciting to see.
Yes. So yeah, I think Dak walks. I think he's going to have to walk. I mean, whoever the GM is. Oh, it's Gerald Jones.
Yeah.
Gerald, as Cole Johnson likes to say. I noted. What's that?
I know what it takes to win from my collegiate days at playing for the Arkansas Razorbacks. I can't do with Jerry Jones. I mean, I can try, but it doesn't always work.
Well, I know how you can imitate Jerry Jones. You can just put some salt on a Egg McMuffin. That's how you can do. So anyway,
and give my glasses arrogantly to my son so that he can polish them.
Here you go, Pickles.
Yeah.
Wipe off my glasses.
Oh man.
No, I did make a point in our Discord chat about the fact that this is going to be. Look, I talked about this during Hard Knocks, New York Giants offseason, and everything they had to go through with Saquon Barkley, and how it worried me as a Jets fan that they're going to have to do the same thing with Breece Hall. But there was a reason why they drafted Braylon Allen. We'll talk about that on a special Victory Monday season preview with my buddy Dan Goldstein on Sunday. We're going to record on Sunday. We're going to record that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Victory Monday coming out before the NFL preview. If you're a Jets fan.
Busy man.
Yeah. Well, he reached out to me last Sunday. He's like, we got to do a pod. I'm like, that's right. We do. Anyway, but yes, you asked the question about Cee Dee Lamb resetting the wide receiver market in the NFL, like Christian Kirk had done with the Jacksonville Jaguars, signing him a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it was worth it. It was worth it that season when they went to the playoffs. So, good on them. Yeah, this worries me a little bit as a New York Jets fan, because if Garrett Wilson has the season that everyone is projecting him to have, and this is his third season, so after this season, he's eligible for an extension on his rookie deal as per the CBA. If he has a season that he has 1,500 plus receiving yards, 10 touchdowns, becomes Aaron Rodgers' favorite target, Jets go to the playoffs, God forbid for everyone that the Jets win a Super Bowl, because I will be the most annoying Jets fan ever.
Oh, man.
Heard it here first. Provided if they do. Garrett Wilson's going to want a lot of money. He's going to want – look, you see the Jamar Chase situation?
Yeah.
In Cincinnati. Garrett Wilson's going to want that type of money and more.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason why Aaron Rodgers took a little bit of a pay cut when he came to the Jets, because he knew he kind of had this feeling, the situation, that we're gonna need more players to help us get over the edge. But also we've got a lot of young stars on this team who are gonna be breaking out. Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, a lot of these guys who are young and hungry, and they're gonna want contract extensions this season coming up. I mean, Sauce Gardner's going to be eligible for a contract extension because of his contract situation. Garrett Wilson, Gardner, Johnson, Jermaine Johnson, all three of those guys are eligible for a contract extension after this season. They're going to want some big money. So yeah, that's what the Cee Dee Lamb signing, him resetting the market, worries me just a little bit. But
yeah,
I think they all like each other enough that they want to stay. They want to stay together as a group. The Jets will. This young core likes each other enough to say, okay, we're willing to maybe take a discount for a couple of years because we want to win. We want to win. We want to not only go to the playoffs for these fans, but we want to win not just one Super Bowl but multiple Super Bowls. They could do it. I believe they could. It just depends on the health of Aaron Rodgers and the health of the offensive line. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
That's a big thing. And just because it just got me thinking now, in no world, okay, as much as I dislike the Cowboys, Cee Dee Lamb is a better wide receiver than DK Metcalf. I know a lot of Seahawks fans are probably going to come out of the woodwork and try to clown me for saying that. but he's better.
Daniel Smooth, if you're in the chat, let us know.
He's better than DK is. Okay, and DK, I just looked it up. DK Metcalf signed a $72 million contract in 2022 that runs through 2025. But 72 million is a far cry from 136 million. And like I said, I think Cee Dee Lamb, probably a better caliber player than DK is at his position. But do you think DK Metcalf is not good enough that he's going to want to redo his contract now? You know, what kind of dominoes is this going to set off?
He's going to have a big season for the
will.
Seahawks this season and next season if he wants that kind of money.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he gets that kind of money, but do I think he could do enough to get a raise? For sure. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, to say nothing of JSN, if Jackson Smith-Njigba does what some people think he is capable of doing in Seattle, he will command massive money when the time comes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Dave's question a while back, or ask us anything. He asked what's going to happen to curb these huge contracts. There really isn't anything you can really control.
This is a war of escalation. It's going to keep happening because I'll go back to documentaries as I want to do on this show. Shaq said in his own words, he was ready to re-sign with the Magic. He had the deal negotiated. And then he saw what the Heat on SportsCenter, he's watching SportsCenter and he goes, da-da-da, da-da-da. He goes, I see it come across the bottom line. Alonzo Mourning gets this much to re-sign with the Heat. And he just goes, he went to Rich D'Amato after that and said, if Mourning gets this much, I want $100 million. Because he knew he was a better player than Mourning. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's no shade to Alonzo Mourning, but Shaq is better than you. I will say it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that set off a whole snowball effect in Orlando. They weren't relevant for a good decade until they drafted Dwight Howard, and he takes them to an NBA final where they run into the LA Lakers. At that time, Shaq was gone from the team, but it was still Kobe's team. It was still Kobe's team. Shaq and Kobe became what Shaq and Penny should have been, in my opinion. We're going off track with the documentaries, but and Pat Williams, unfortunately, we lost him a couple weeks back. He was the man who was responsible for bringing the Magic to Orlando, given the expansion franchise in 1990. And Orlando, I believe they're relevant again. I think they went to the playoffs this year, and they took Cleveland to Game 7 in the Eastern Conference quarterfinal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think
they got a bright future. Mm-hmm. They got a bright future in Orlando. So they built some pieces. And hey, if we start paying attention to the NBA this year, I might have to for some 10 good minutes segments about the NBA.
Yeah.
They'll probably be in the conversation.
Yeah, we should if we're going to do 10 good minutes on the NBA, we should reach out to Playmaker about it.
Yeah. I got him in mind. I got some other guys in mind too. So we'll be in discussion. Speaking of NFL, Sauce Gardner made a confession on social media, and I'll show the tweet on the screen, but also read it off for our podcast audience. And he quoted, and he put this on Twitter with a picture of pepperoni pizza, a little bit of basil. He says, I have a confession to make, and it breaks my heart. New York style pizza might be better than a Detroit style pizza. Sweat emoji, broken heart emoji. Close quote. Wait, I didn't do it right. Sorry. Let me do this right. Let me get rid of this real quick. All right, here we go. So Sauce Gardner said on Twitter, quote, I have a confession to make, and it breaks my heart. New York style pizza might be better than Detroit style pizza. Close quote. Now, Sauce Gardner's a Michigan boy. Played at the University of Cincinnati, but he's from the Detroit area, if I'm not mistaken. Let's do some real-time research here and verify that real quick. Yep, Detroit, Michigan. I was right. See, I know my players. I know my players.
There you go.
And Dave says, was there ever a question about that? Well, I don't know. I mean, I've never had Detroit style pizza.
Yeah, I haven't had it yet myself.
New York pizza. I grew up on New York pizza, and hot take: New York style pizza made in New Jersey is the best pizza. All right. I've had Chicago style deep dish pizza. I've had what's called St. Louis pizza, where it's basically cut into like a New York style pizza, but it's cut into different squares, and like that's not even.
I don't know about that.
But there's also, I guess, New Haven has pretty good pizza.
Yeah, New Haven is a style.
They have a style, but I've never had New Haven style.
Neither have I.
We may have to do a road trip.
Yeah, we can do that.
And I've never had Detroit style pizza. I understand that there's a pizza place in New York City that sells Detroit style pizza.
Okay. Oh, you can't be Oneonta pizza, Uncle Al. No. Tino's cold cheese pizza. It's a phenomenon, my friend. You haven't lived until you've been blackout drunk wandering into Tino's at 2 a.m. for a slice of cold cheese. What it is it's pizza. It's pizza, and they take it out of the oven, and it's real hot. And then you take cold mozzarella cheese, and you sprinkle it on top, and you can eat the pizza right away because the cold mozzarella helps cool it down. You don't burn the roof of your mouth. It's something.
Well, Dr. Lady says the square is Sicilian pizza. I know that. I know the Sicilian pizza, but I'm talking about a round pizza, but instead of cutting it into 8 slices, they cut across a bunch of ways, and they cut horizontally and vertically, and they come out in squares, like little squares.
Yeah, little like strips almost.
I had that in Iowa, and I wanted to throw it out the window. And I'll talk. You know what I'll do this weekend? I'll go and talk to my brother, my sister-in-law, and my nephew, because we were on that trip to Iowa at the Field of Dreams. You can go back in the archives and listen to that episode. It was a fun episode. But like, we were so disappointed because the Midwest, God bless you, you don't know pizza.
Yeah.
All right. You don't know pizza. And Dr. Lady says, I know people who cut like that. It's chaos. Yeah, absolutely chaos. It's absolute chaos. But I still need to try Detroit style, and I need to try New Haven style. We may have to make a couple road trips this fall.
And I would say, Ryan, because Dave in the comments says, Hill I Die On, Chicago style deep dish is more of an Italian casserole than a pizza. I would agree with you, Dave, that Chicago style pizza is its own thing entirely. Now, I've never been to Chicago to have Chicago deep dish. That is a goal of mine. But Romo's in Glenmont, you want good Chicago style pizza? You want good pizza, period. Go to Romo's. Let's go to Glenmont. You'll have some pizza. And I think they do a New Haven style pie there, so maybe we could give it a shot.
Dustin, we need to go to this place in New York City. Guess what it's called?
What is it called?
Lions and Tigers and Squares Detroit Pizza.
Oh, man, that's pretty awesome.
We need to go.
That's pretty awesome.
There needs to be a road trip. There needs to be a no credentials required road trip. We're going to make some content. We're going to visit Lions and Tigers and Squares.
All right. Yeah, we'll visit Romo's. We'll visit this spot. We'll maybe go to New Haven, get some of the New Haven. Because, I mean, they're all pretty close.
Yeah, I got to find out what the address is. And it's in Chelsea. It's in Chelsea, It's in Chelsea, Manhattan.
Okay.
So it's between the West Village and Midtown Manhattan. So it's open. It's open from 11. It's only open from 11 a.m. to 4. Oh, 11 a.m. to 4 a.m. I read it as
11 to 4 p.m.
I read it to 4 p.m., but it's 11 a.m. They're open from 11 a.m. to 4 a.m.
Lions and Tigers and Squares. The dinner rush.
See, when I get there,
11 to 4 p.m.
See, when I get there, I gotta do the McFoley impression.
What
tables
was it?
And ladders and chairs.
That's
what
my! It was. Yeah, that's what it was.
But we gotta visit Lions and Tigers and Squares.
Yeah.
And actually, I want to see their menu real quick. Their menu. Man. They got the classic, which is the Detroit Square pizza with caramelized cheddar cheese, crust, and zesty tomato sauce.
Oh, yeah.
They got the vodka, pepperoni, mustard. Ugh. Detroit Square pizza with caramelized cheddar cheese crust, corned beef, sauerkraut, and spicy brown mustard. Ew.
I don't know if I want corned beef on a pizza.
No.
I'll tell you that.
I would get the classic and then we get the pepperoni. So they got the classic vodka, so it's creamy vodka sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Pepperoni with pepperoni cups. The mustard, which is basically it's basically a Reuben, and the sausage and onion, which is basically Detroit style pizza with a caramelized cheddar cheese crust, crumbled pork sausage, white onions, and a dash of maple syrup.
I give that a shot.
I give that a shot.
But I will say, okay, I have very passionate opinions. If you're going to do the pepperoni cups, you got to make them crispy. And from that picture you showed, it looks like they know what they're doing over at Lions, Tigers, and Squares.
So Chelsea, Manhattan, sometime this fall, no credentials required, is going to come to you. You better be ready. Lions and Tigers and Squares, we're coming. I know Jared, our buddy Jared from Corner Booth Podcast. He lives in Connecticut. I don't know if he lives anywhere near New Haven, but we gotta find some time this fall to go down to his neck of the woods. Maybe we can do like a collaboration, get some New Haven style pizza. He can show us which places are.
Which ones have the hotness when it comes to New Haven style pizza? Wow, couldn't get that out.
We had some roster cuts this week because the 53-man rosters were due yesterday. Some notable cuts. One of them being Desmond Ridder. He was poor guy, drafted by the Falcons, won 6 games last year, started in 13, traded to the Cardinals, and he was cut.
Oof. Yeah. That's a rough start for Desmond.
Frank Gore Jr. was an undrafted free agent. He was waived by the Buffalo Bills. Caleb Farley, who was let go. He's a first-round pick of the Titans in 2021. He was let go. Several veteran wide receivers: Allen Robinson, N'Keal Harry, Kadarius Toney.
Yeah.
They're currently out of a job. They're looking for new work. So yeah, I mean, some names out there that are available. I know the Jets signed a former first-round pick of the Minnesota Vikings. I'm trying to remember his name. Cee Dee? I'm trying to remember his first name.
I can't remember. Let me see.
Louis Cee Dee.
Okay.
So he was let go. He was released by the Minnesota Vikings yesterday, and he signed with the Jets. Great depth pick. So good on them. Good the Jets to do that. But yeah. Anything else NFL wise you want? Oh, I know what I wanted to address. Fantasy football, real quick. Real quick rant because we're running short on time because we got to get out of here. It's after 9:30. Fantasy football. Auto draft is not an option, folks. All right, auto draft is not an option. It's not a strategy.
Yeah.
If you commit to doing a fantasy football draft on a particular night, at a particular time, you don't show up, you auto draft, you're dead to me. Because here's part one. Part one of it is in the first round, you have to wait. It's in depending on which format you're on.
Oh yeah. You have to wait so long.
You have to wait a minute and a half for their pick to go through if you're on auto draft. Then it picks the best available player. And then after the first round, you go through it. People who are present, they pick their picks. It comes to the person who has the auto draft, and it picks the next best player. And it's like, I want that player. I want that player. Unfortunately, the people who don't bother showing up for the draft, who let it auto draft, they get the best player. It drives me nuts. Happened in a league that I'm participating in on Saturday. I'm praying to God it doesn't happen in our league on Monday night.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that one. But I have a league draft because I will add a little addendum to this because I realize life happens. I am in a league that is drafting on Sunday. I may or may not have another engagement on that Sunday during the draft time. Now, I'll be able to make part of the draft, but I will, in that league, pre rank my players just in case I'm not able to finish it out. And at least if you can't be there, at least take the time to pre rank your players because that way it goes off of your list, not just by the site's rankings, whatever it is, Yahoo,
Yep.
ESPN.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I get it. Sometimes life happens, but I largely agree with you. If you commit to a draft, make an effort to be there. Things pop up. I might have to balance things. I remember those heady days of my mid-20s where I cared a lot about fantasy football. I was once in 4 leagues. I'll never do it again. I had 2 computers side by side, and I was drafting. I was drafting at the same time on both computers. Those were I had a netbook. Remember those, Ryan?
Oh my God. Well, I will say
it was
this
a
for
backup computer.
Sunday night. We are tentatively scheduled to be on our boy D Willie's In and Out Sports Debate.
All right. I wasn't sure if we could let the cat out of the bag yet, so that's why I was
I'm going to let it out of the
dagging.
bag. I'm going to confirm with him on Messenger sometime tomorrow. He's currently at work. Shout out to our boy Drew Willie.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention too. I'm now their CFL insider for Total Football Talk with he and Cole Johnson. So that's fun.
I did see a particular clip you guys posted having to do with The Rock and pies and strudel and
all
sorts of things.
And pronunciation of names.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fantasy football. I mean, I will say this: like, I did make in our league that we're in. I did set a day, but somebody reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm going to be out of town on the auto draft." Since I hate auto draft, I made a conciliatory point to say, all right, I'm just gonna reschedule it for Monday night, 8:00. Be there. If he ain't, kicking you out of the league. And your Uncle Al wants to know if with the same fantasy team names. I change my name every year. This season, I'm the Taylor Ham Sandos.
I saw that. Are
you gonna stick with Chemical Toilet?
Oh, I'm sticking with Chemical Toilet. When you have a heater like Chemical Toilet, you don't give that up.
You don't give
that up. Now, I will say the other league that I'm in is new, and I always try to do like a Seahawks themed one. This year, for those of you who get this, I'm proud of you. This is Rock and Roll McDonald's. That's what I called my team. And Ryan, do you understand the references? There's 2 in there.
Well, I know McDonald's because of the name of their coach.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out rock and roll.
So there's a song by a man named Wesley Willis called Rock and Roll McDonald's. And so I put
deep
the 2
you're going deep.
I put the 2 of them together, and that's what we got. That's what we got this year. So we'll see.
Oh man. All right. Let's wrap this up. We'll talk about a quick item, then we'll wrap things up here. Danny Jansen made baseball history yesterday.
No, it was I think it was trying to think of when I sent you that on Instagram. I think it was Sunday that it happened because there was a game. It was either Sunday or Monday. There was a game that was resumed between the Red Sox and the Blue Jays, I believe.
Yes. So there was a rain out or a game that was postponed to complete a later date between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox. And Danny Jansen at the time was playing for the Toronto Blue Jays. Then he got traded to the Boston Red Sox. And it was traded at the trade deadline.
Yes.
But he made history by appearing in a game. He played for both teams in the same game after a 2-month postponement. He comes in, gets his at-bat with the Blue Jays, and then the next inning, he's in a Boston Red Sox uniform.
Yeah. That is, I don't think anybody else will end up doing that. That is quite a circumstance that lined up perfectly for that to happen.
Yes.
So I don't think anybody else is going to be accomplishing that feat.
Yes, very much like the 300 game winner. This will never be. This will never happen again. Before we get out of here, a couple more comments. Dave saying, "One day I will name my team." Our friend Kevin Wilson from Belly Up Fantasy Sports saying Tommy John should be in the Hall of Fame, if not as a player, then as an innovator.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, he changed the game in his own way.
Changed the game with that surgery, prolonged his career. And your Uncle Al, 2 teams at the same time, man. What would you do if you had $1 million? 2 teams at the same time. All right, we're going to get out of here. But before we do that, we just want to remind you about our social media channels, which are appearing right now on Facebook. Facebook.com/NoCredsREQ. Twitter, Instagram. They scarcely use TikTok. It's @NoCredsREQ. YouTube.com/@NoCredsREQ. Give us a like. And subscribe to the podcast on your preferred podcast platform, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Spreaker, iHeart, TuneIn, or Pandora, wherever you podcast. Also, don't forget to leave a rating and a review. A 5-star rating would be most excellent. And if you're on a platform where you can review the podcast, and also if you're on Spotify, you can also, there's also Q&As on there too. So if you want to leave us a question about a past episode or just a question in general, like we did tonight with Ask Us Anything, ask us a question. We might even read it on the air.
Yeah. I'd be down for future AMAs because there's a lot
Absolutely.
more topics that we could cover.
Yeah.
And I just have one small favor to ask before we sign off. There's been a lot of Boston talk on the show. Can we remind everybody feelings about Boston?
Yes. Unfortunately, he never appeared, but I will definitely acknowledge our tribal chief, who reminds us all about Boston, and we share the same sentiment.
The following is a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
Boston.
This has been a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
We acknowledge you, our tribal chief, Wise El Jefe.
Yeah. Oh man.
Speaking of Wise El Jefe, I've got another announcement. It's coming. I have another project coming down the pike with Wise, Cole Johnson, and a couple other cool guys. It'll be announced hopefully very, very soon. But I'm excited about this project, and you might see some hockey stories.
Oh, nice!
Yours truly, and I'm going to be co-host of this particular program. So it's coming down the pike. I'll let you know on No Cringes Required when this new project will be coming out, and we hope you'll tune into that as well.
Oh man, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, again, I'm going to confirm with Drew tomorrow that we'll definitely be on In or Out Sports Debate on Sunday night. We'll confirm that. If we get it confirmed, we'll put it on social media. We'll share it on our channel, our personal channels, and so on and so forth. And Andrew says, iconic ad. Absolutely.
It is.
All right.
It cannot be beat.
It cannot be beat because we must acknowledge our tribal chief. We got to get out of here. So thank you, everyone. It's a marathon. Yes, it's an AMA. What are you gonna do? And we got on the pizza talk.
We did.
What are you gonna do?
Pizza equals passion.
That's right. Lines and tigers and squares are coming. But thank you for tuning in to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by the Belly Up Media Network. Don't forget, next Tuesday is our NFL special. It's our NFL preview for 2024. We'll talk about all the divisions, and we'll try to get them covered in 5 minutes or less each division. We'll talk about who will make the playoffs. We'll talk about who will be our Super Bowl picks, and the following Saturday will be our preview show for Week 1 of the 2024 NFL season. So stay tuned for that. And then the following Tuesday, we'll recap week 1, and we'll keep the ball rolling from there for the rest of the NFL season. Those will be our live streams and on the podcast side. We'll talk about all the other sports in 10 good minutes section and our 10 good minutes segments, which will be posted on YouTube. I'll try to post it on Facebook and on Twitter as well. Just make sure we have some balance. But until then, we're going to do some research, hardcore research about the NFL season. And we'll be back on Tuesday night at 8:05 p.m. Eastern for our 2024 NFL preview. Until then, y'all have a good night, and y'all have a very safe and happy Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, and get on over to the Discord if you haven't joined yet. We had some good discussions in there.
Yeah.
We like to chop it up about various different things. And with that being said, I echo Ryan's sentiments about Labor Day weekend, and good night, everybody.
Rest in peace, Psycho Sid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, shout out to Sid Udy, the master and the ruler of the world.
Yes.
Big soft understand.
Sorry, go ahead. I cut you off.
Big softball fan, as I understand.
Yes, softball Sid. but in all seriousness, rest in peace. Prayers up to the UD family. And again, we'll see you on Tuesday. We'll see you Tuesday night for our NFL preview.
Good night, everybody.